Kia ora e te whānau, welcome back, and welcome to, if you're new here, get cozy, grab your cup of tea and come and sit down. These are just some of the things that we have made so far in this series, and the whole playlist will be on the end of the video, so feel free to join in at any point. This is a come make with me, and if you've got the pack, I'll show you what's going to be in the folder for this week. All of those details of course will be in the description below, but you do not have to use the pack, obviously. If you want to make a journal like me, then that's there to help you out, but you can also absolutely use your own stash and the things that you've got at home to do this. So this is what we are making today, just a little belly band that's not actual tags that go in pocket. We've found another little use for them, to use them as decoration. And this is, I'm jumping around all over the place, I know, but this is number 5 right here. So this is the one that we're going to be making today, so I'll make sure to tick that one off. And these are all the people that chose number 5. It was quite a popular one. So if you are watching now, hopefully you'll enjoy this little make and we'll get started. Okay, thanks for being with me. Okay, so we need to make a couple of tags, and I've just got out some bits and pieces. I just have some plain 240 GSM card, because I want the tags that we make to be quite substantial so that they're stiff and they hold things into the pockets. And then I've got out some old vintage lace of mine, which I thought, love letters and lace, right? Little scrap of dictionary page, something for contrast that's a little bit darker than the rest. So unfortunately this is just a little piece of scrapbooking paper and I don't own the copyright to it, so just use something that's maybe a darker brown. It could be even a black playing card that you rip up and put on top to decorate. Bit of ledger, so I'll put that ledger in the come make with me folder for this week again. I have some genuine letter that I might use in the come make with me folders. There's already some scanned letters, just a random old book page. I don't even know what the story's about, so hopefully it won't have anything weird on it. And alternatively, I'll pop this digital in there because it's just a collage that I made, and you could just cut and turn these into tags. It doesn't even need to be a collaged tag. So, and that's from last week when I ripped cut the ends off that labyrinth belly band. So let's probably chuck that on there. Okay, so I want my tags to be about, let's see, probably at least 4 centimeters, maybe 5. I'll grab my big ruler. So 4 centimeters is about 1.5 inches. 5 centimeters is about 2 inches. Okay. And just remember, they do have to overlap slightly, because that's how we glue them together, so we don't want them too thin. So I would think I'll go 5 centimeters or 2 inches. So I'm just going to cut 2 of those. And you could have tags that you've already built in your stash too, so and when I collage, I'm having a problem with this card sticking to my mat today. I just use glue stick. I've found this one in New Zealand, Icon glue stick. I think it was from like Office Products, and it's really good. It's really cheap. I like it when they're not too hard and you get a decent amount of glue on them, and it seems to hold really well. So I often use a combination of my glue, Gloo, and glue stick when I'm collaging. I just find that helps. So I'll just use my leftover to glue on. I might just start by covering this first one in plain book paper. Because they don't need to be too busy. And although you will know this, because I would have finished the project and said, here's what we're making today and filmed that bit, I don't know this yet. You know the future, I don't. I might decorate with a cluster onto those little tags anyway on the top and the bottom of the page. I'll just see how busy it is and how I like it. Most of what I do is a little bit planned out, and then I find I'll notice I probably could do with just a little something, or if that has a cluster on it, it's not going to overdo the page, so then I will just change my mind and maybe put some extra bits and pieces on. Okay, so I'll just quickly cut the excess off that now. Okay, and I think this could be a really good one for a bit of contrast. So I think I will just put that. Obviously we've got to ink that edge quickly. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is cut those guys in half, because I want the top and bottom to be a little bit similar, otherwise we're going to find that it's just a little bit too much variation. Okay, so that might be my first two, and I haven't decided yet. I'll wait to see if it's on when it's on my page. I might cover those ones up with a little bit of lace. We'll see how we go. And then I'm just going to use my angle punch add a bit of a trim. And my corner punch. And give them a quick ink. Because that glue isn't quite dry, I'm just going to pop it under my big wallpaper book to keep them nice and flat while they dry. Now the second one, I think I might use a little bit of letter as the base. And yes, probably using a printed version of this would be a better idea than using your double-sided stash, but that's just me. And these ones are going to be a little bit shorter than the longer two anyway, so I'm just going to chop that off there. Okay. And again, I'm just going to cut those in half. Make my life a little bit easier here. And I think that's a really good start. I think they already look really cool. I've got a variation in colour tones, in font size. So let's start by finishing those off, and then we can decide when it's on the page what more we want. So I'll just check the size of that against our A5. And I think I'm going to put this one on here, because I need to see how these are touching. I'm going to need to cut the tags down just a little bit. So I probably want the longest one that size, so that we've got that gap, and then a shorter one again. So which ones shall we? We'll just cut these down. Oh, I quite like those long though, because I've got the brown and it brings in the tones of the background. So I think I'll just slightly trim these guys. Then I can tell you about what size they need to be. So if I take off that much off the bottom, a bit more off, which will be good, because then we can fix my boo-boo where I used the wrong punch. Real world crafting here. Okay. Right. Punch this time, Sara-Lee. Okay, now how we're looking. We'll need to shorten those a bit. So yeah, that's good. Then we've got a little gap in there, and we probably want another centimetre, maybe a bit more, maybe about 1.5 centimetres off these ones. I'm happy with that. So we need our little hole punches there, and all I do punch the holes in the top first. Better tell you the measurements, or at least show you. So the longer tags are about 9 centimetres or 3.5 inches, and the shorter ones have been cut to about 7 centimetres, just slightly over, and 2 3/4 of an inch. So I'll just tidy up and I'll pop back with my little circle covers, and we'll put those on, and I'll just quickly re-ink those while I'm away as well. Okay, so I want different coloured hole punches. I don't know, hole reinforcers, and I was thinking on these ones I could tie in that colour again, and on these ones I could just have, and I do have a whole box of these because I make quite a few when I usually do it, but this isn't anything you haven't seen before. But I just punch them out, and then I get my little one. I usually open that so that I can see it better, and then I try and centre that up as best as I can by eye, which takes a little bit of time for me, and then I pop them out. We only need them for one side because we don't have, they're not tags, they are going on only one side. I often get them quite wonky, but if they're not perfectly centered, I just see that one there, for example, that's definitely not centered. You can see that this is thinner than the rest of it, but I just make sure that I put that either facing down or facing up, and it seems to look all right. I'll just do, I only need 2 of these, so I won't need to show you. That one was wonky. You guys can probably see better than I can right now. Okay, and I definitely do give these a quick ink. Just to age them up a little bit. Then we'll just quickly glue them on. There we go, and now we just need to glue a little bit, just a little overlap. And stick them onto each other. The most important part there is just to make sure that this line along here is nice and straight, because that's going to be the top and bottom edge of your page. So I've just fixed that up because obviously I did them both the same way and they need to be opposites. So just quickly pulled that off and fixed it up. So I'll just get rid of my little glue marks and I'll pop back. Okay, so the string that I made here, I did film making that, so I'll just pop that in now so that you can see it. Okay, I hope you can see this. Just skip this part if you don't want to. So I've just got 6-strand embroidery cotton in 3 different colours, and I am not going to, I've got about, I'd say about 60 centimetres in length, and obviously we're not going to need that much, but as you plait it, it does shrink the cotton. So I usually take more than I need. You don't want them too long because they get tangled, and I'll show you that too. So I just tie a normal knot in those 3, and then I get a safety pin and I sit with a blanket in front of me. Sometimes I'll just put it through my jeans if I'm wearing jeans and have it on my knee, but you go through the blanket or whatever is not going to move, then you go through the knot. This is quite far away from me at the moment with the camera there, and then you go through the blanket again. Now if you know how to plait, this just, I don't know, I just like the way it looks. It adds something. So when you're plaiting, obviously you have 3 strands and the outside come into the middle alternatively each time, right? And a lot of people plait like that. I find it, and if you can get the hang of this, it makes life a lot easier. So I hold with my middle finger the middle strand. So I pick those up with my index and my thumb, and then I grab that one, and then I will, with my index and middle finger, move it into the middle, and then I will grab with my middle finger and bring that over into the middle, right? Grab with my middle finger, and I will just keep going. And when I've done about 5, you can see it's starting to tangle there, so you need to pull one out, and you can actually get quite quick at it. And I just find this easier than plaiting normally. It's a lot quicker and you get faster and faster at it. So I'll just show you that again. So I hold, grab with my middle finger and pull that through as I'm moving the index finger to the center. Again, hold, pull that through. So I'll just do that slowly, and then you can just get faster and faster. So I'm just going to finish that plait off. As you get further and further to the bottom, you won't need to untangle it as much, and it becomes a little bit easier. So I'll just finish this off and then I will come back. So when we get to the end, I just want to knot the actual plait part so that it doesn't loosen off. So I'm just carefully holding where I haven't quite plaited the ends, and I'm just going to do that same knot again. Means the knot will be plaited, but that's fine. There you go. And then I've got plenty there, way more than I probably need, but they make cute little ties for actual tags and things as well. And that's what you end up with, just a little plaited. Now you don't have to do that, of course. You could do it just in one colour. You don't have to do it multicoloured. You could use that twine that you can get that's already 2 different tones, but I just think it adds a little touch to your journals, a little personalised, something a little bit more crafty. So that's what we will use to tie our tag belly band together. And now that you either grabbed your own string, you could use lace, or if you've made that, now we just need to glue these on, and you just need to decide whether you want the longer bit facing outwards or like that. It really doesn't make a lot of difference. I love how I'm not having to back these cards tags because they're not actually going to be used as tags. I am going to give that a reasonable amount, so that's about that much along the bottom of glue. There's my glue line there. It just helps make this a little bit firmer to hold things. And you could put eyelets in there if you wanted to. The only thing is eyelets don't lay as flat because they've got the little bit at the back, and because it's a little belly band, we actually do want it to kind of be as flat as possible. line these up as best as we can. About there. And I'm going to leave those to dry and then come back and put that thread through. Okay, so what you want to do is start there, come through that side, come down to that angle, and then back up through the back of this guy, and then just make sure that you've got as much as you need to tie your little bow. Sorry about the traffic. Oh my goodness. I live on a semi-industrial street, and my bedroom slash craft room, if you didn't know that we're on my bed right now, is right on the street at the front of the house. So just one knot, I'm just going to tie my bow and I will double knot that just to make sure. Then, so that I can save the rest of that for another little tag, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie a knot at about where that length is, so about there. Then I'm going to tie another knot right next to it, just so that I don't start unraveling my plait. And then I'm going to cut between them. There we go. So at this stage, I don't think, because that just looped through, it might be great for another little tag we'll use somewhere. At this stage, I am going to leave it like that. I'm not going to put anything else. It does look more like the original, and of course, like with any belly bands, once you've got things tucked into them, if you're not careful, it can get quite overwhelming. And we do have the decorative background as well, and we need some simpler pages in our journal anyway. So we've gone from a really quite interactive heavy page probably to a writing space over here that we'll create at some point, or maybe it'll just have a little pocket. Obviously there's going to be other things in it as well, but I think that page just on its own is quite a cute place to stick all our ephemera, which we'll do at a later date. So there we go. We have almost, well, we've got half a folio done for our journal. So thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were cozy and crafting with me, and until I see you again next week, which I still don't know what I'm doing, because I kind of go fly off the seat of my pants, and whichever I feel would look good in the same folio, or what I feel like doing is what I do. But I will also make sure that all of those things do get ticked off. So until next time, thank you so much for being here. Everything, if you do want the kit, all the details will be in the description below. If not, feel absolutely free just to use your own stash and use this idea. That's what it's here for. Okay, until next time. Love you guys. Mā te wā.